Well, hello, very good morning. Welcome to BBC News. RBS, the bank which received the biggest bailout from the British taxpayer, has started making a profit again. The bank has also announced that the outgoing chief executive, Stephen Hester, will be replaced by its retail banking boss, Ross McEwan.
Ross McEwan will replace, as we heard there, Stephen Hester. He quit the bank back in June amid claims of political interference. But who exactly is he? Well, the 56-year-old is currently the head of RBS's retail banking arm. He began that job just 12 months ago. So let's speak to Chris Roebuck. He's from Cass Business School. He's at the Stock Exchange for us. Chris, hello to you as always. We heard there a little bit about who the new boss is, but the fundamental issue is that he has his work cut out. Where does he start?
With any of these chief executive appointments, it's really interesting that it sends messages to the bank internally about what they're going to do. It sends messages to the market, and it also says what the key stakeholders want. And if you look at this appointment, we know from the market intelligence that there were a couple of people outside the bank who were offered it, who turned it down, which says that some people view this role to some degree as not necessarily a poisoned chalice, but certainly a tough role. From the perspective of the bank, it quite clearly sends the message to say, actually, we're moving away from being a big international bank to retrenching back home to become more of a UK-based branch bank. And the question is, how can he inspire and motivate the employees across the country in all of those branches to deliver the best service in the banking industry? And how can he also at the same time, however, given the change in emphasis, keep those in the investment bank motivated, given that they are perceived to be less important than they were previously?
Yeah, his work has already begun, as we said, 12 months in the job as the head of the retail banking division. He's already spent £700 million trying to improve the branches. I just want to talk about this shift away from the riskier part of the bank towards the part of the bank that me and you will know, the high street branches. I mean, how important is it in the mix of what the bank does to concentrate on its retail division?
It is important because there are two elements. There's the economic element, which is that organisation makes us money, which allows us to potentially get the taxpayers' money back. But it also sends messages to key constituents, i.e. to the government and to the people of this country who perceive RBS to be a British bank. I mean, the people of this country also need to remember that RBS is actually an international bank, just as HSBC is an international bank and Barclays is an international bank. And some of the banks that we think of as British earn significantly more money outside these shores than on these shores. But it's the perception of what those banks seem to hold in the minds of the British people and the government that is so critical. And no matter what they are doing well abroad, if they are delivering pretty bad service to British customers and they are not supporting the development of British business to help us get out of the economic downturn, then they will be viewed as failing.
Now, unsurprisingly, a lot of people delving into his history, looking at anything that he's said or been quoted on over the past 10 or 15 years. Two that jump out at me. One, that he failed 2 accounting exams at university. And another one, he said he's more comfortable with people than figures. But actually, you might say that last quote is a good thing when he's dealing with the internal market and trying to get these staff on board.
Absolutely. To be perfectly blunt, I mean, hopefully he's not going to necessarily be doing accounts all day. As chief executive, he should be out there leading the organisation visibly, going around the country, talking to people in the branches and inspiring them. The simple fact is we know that if an organisation has inspiring leaders at all levels, its staff can produce 30% more effort in the same time for the same money. And if he can get that, he will get a degree of success that delivers our taxpayer money back to us and makes RBS the best bank in the country, potentially, and it can then expand outside.
OK, Chris, as always, good to talk to you. That's Chris Roebuck there at Cass Business.